Cloud, start the party, make sure everybody can jump in. What is up? What is up? So, two quick things. First of all, if you want to connect with other recruiters that are excited about crushing it, drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat so that way other people can definitely connect with you. Secondly, if any speaker today has made an impact, whether you've learned something, you've been encouraged, you're ready to crush the rest of this year, share that on LinkedIn. Tag the speaker, tag them like the impact that they made. So excited. This is day one of Finish the Year Strong, and I am so excited for my buddy Brian, who is absolutely just like freaking crushing it this year. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard his story. He's been on multiple podcasts. You guys have seen him all over the place, but he relaunched his recruiting agency, and he's kind of talk about some of the things happening with actual AI when it comes to you being an agency owner. So, Brian, the floor is yours, buddy.
All right, party people. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for making this happen, Ben. Thanks for bringing the community together. Real quick, if you're just tuning in, drop your LinkedIn handle in the chat. Make sure that we're connecting with each other at scale, because scale is what we're going to talk about today, about how prompts and agentic browsers are going to help us scale recruiting in 2026. If you have a question that pops up, oh, Taylor Fulton in the house, we got Kelly in the house, David Porter in the house, Gene in the house. Hey, I'm done with house announcements, right? Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. What is going on and what are we going to do? All right, so we've got 6 things that we are going to hit today. This is going to be our hit parade. We're going to do a brief introduction and we're going to talk about my core 4 ethos, what I think makes a great recruiter. Then we're going to talk about what you need to succeed today and tomorrow. And I want to operationalize on the keyword free, FREE, because we're going to do a lot of free stuff today because we are here to build our agencies and build our presence in a free and autonomous way. And we're going to give back freely and share with the community. Then we're going to jump into prompting in, maybe you know where I'm going with that, across different LLMs. Then we're going to go window shopping, browsing, and we're going to do a little bit of buying. Okay. And then we're going to talk about applying the core 4 for success in 2026. And then maybe, just maybe, we're going to do a little bit of freestyling and profiling and do a little bit of hands-on, hand-holding, recruiting together. So without any further ado, let's get this thing started. 2026, we know it is right around the corner. We got less than 90 days to go. What are the next 90 days going to bring? Well, I'm going to tell you is when Ben reached out to me and was like, yo, B, will you do this for me? Will you do this for our community? Some things changed dramatically. Some things changed in terms of the browser capabilities and what we could do in an agentic workflow. So we're going to talk about agentic workflow, and we're going to talk about what you're going to do for the next 90 days so that you can be a badass. All right. So what stays the same? What stays the same in recruiting today, tomorrow, next week, the future, whenever, 2025 in the rearview mirror? What stays the same is the fact that we have 4 core variables that we're going to index on. And what changes? What changes are the technologies that we use to connect with candidates at scale. So, hey, real quick, if you're just joining us, I'm Brian Fink. I've been a recruiter for nearly 2 decades. What drives me, what gets me really effing excited is helping recruiters go from better to best, all right? I believe that great recruiting isn't just about pipelines and platforms. It's about business acumen. It's about being a storyteller. It's about knowing when to challenge the status quo. And that's what we're going to do today. That's what's going to change. We're going to go deep in this paint. 4 core ethos. I believe that all great recruiters have 4 core traits. And these are 4 gentlemen. 3 I've met. 1 I did not meet, but I worked for in his ethos with Steve Jobs and the Apple team on Apple Media Products. We got Steve Fink on our left. We got Steve Rath in the middle. We got Steve Levy taking up the rear. And then we got Steve Jobs. And I like to think these 4 core values are 4 core Steves are curiosity, empathy, tenacity, and mischievousness. It's important as recruiters that we always stay curious, but that doesn't mean that we fall in love with every shiny object that comes our way, right? So no shiny object syndrome. Empathy. We're going to act candidate first, we're going to act client first, and we're going to make sure that we build those relationships at scale in a way that feels authentic and real, where people are heard and seen. Okay. Tenacity. Man, this is the speed that we're moving at. We're going hard in the paint. All right. We are going deep in the red. We are going big in the green and in the black. Right. What am I talking about with tenacity? It means that you don't stop until you're finished. My father, who's on the left, would always tell me, Brian, you got to do one more than everybody else. I encourage you to do one more than everybody else today. And then mischievousness. This is probably a Steve Levy trait, okay? Is that I want to encourage you to do things that maybe should not be done to see if they can be done. And we're going to get into that when we go into agentic browser, all right? So how are the four core going to guide us in 2026? Well, I think that it really delves into curiosity, leaning into what AI can do, tenacity, making sure that I gave myself the thumbs up. Let me see if I can give myself lasers. All right. Curiosity, what we're going to lean into and how we're going to use AI, empathy, how we're going to build those relationships at scale, tenacity, how we're going to run through walls to deliver for our clients and for our candidates, and then mischievousness, how we're going to do all this in a wild and crazy new world. So as we're talking about this, what you will need to know to succeed today and tomorrow. That's topic number one. LLMs. What LLMs will we be using to find talent? We're going to be using a little open AI with a little chat GPT. We're going to get into a little Anthropic with Claude. We may do a dance with Gemini. And then we're going to get into my favorite. Maybe I'm saving my favorite for last, Perplexity. Or maybe we're going to get into something mischievous. And if you notice, I've misspelled mischievous on this slide. All right, browsers. What agentic browsers will we be using? We're going for two. We're going for Comet and we're going for Dia. Okay. Now, real quick, if Taylor Fulton is in the audience, Taylor, how much do these browsers cost? Taylor, I need to hear you scream. I never use Perplexity. Kelly, we're getting into it. Pam, we're getting into it. Let's get ready to rock and roll. All right. So what is the difference between LLMs or generative AI and agentic research, right? Well, I like to think of agentic research as kind of like a crock pot. You put a bunch of stuff in it and it cooks it up, and then you got dinner for your family. But more importantly, it's a system that acts autonomously to accomplish goals by combining an LLM or LLMs with memory, what your LLM thinks about, reasoning, how it makes a decision to give you the spuriousness that it gives you, and access to external tools. Let's index on external tools for a second. What is the number one external tool that you use as a recruiter? Drop it in the chat. Let everybody know. If it's your phone, let everybody know. We're going to talk about your phone. If it's an LLM, let everybody know about the LLM. But get that energy out. Get that energy going. I only see 3 people talking in the chat. Chat GPT. That's great. Awesome. We got Pin. We got Juicebox. We got Signature Back Office. LinkedIn is number 1. Alethea, I'm going to show you how to do some crazy things on LinkedIn. We're going to get crazy, okay? Seek out and Copilot, Chat GPT and Claude. Kelly, I'm glad you brought up Claude. I forget about Claude all the time, right? So let's get ready to go into some of these prompts and LLMs, all right? Break this down, little Boolean versus natural language search. So what's Boolean? Boolean's a mathematical equation about how we talk to a search engine like Google. Natural language search, that's how we talk to our friends. It's how I say, hey, Kelly, I hope that you're doing well today. Do you know any female leaders in the engineering space, right? Oh, LinkedIn. Somebody was excited about LinkedIn. So we are going to get into LinkedIn. We are going to break this thing apart, all right? We used to search LinkedIn like this. You were limited to 32 terms per Google search. And these are the terms that you could have used. We're going to focus on X-ray and file type, or the site command and file type. But let's look for a forward deployed engineer who works for Palantir. Real simple search string. What I've done is I've said, hey, Google, site command : linkedin.com/in, saying, yo, Google, I only want to look at results from LinkedIn. And then I'm going to open parentheses and I'm going to use the abbreviation for forward deployed engineer, and that's FDE. Or I'm going to say forward deployed engineer, and I left out a quotation mark. Oh, man, I should have checked over this last night. And then we're going to say we're looking at Palantir, right? It comes through and it shows us all these profiles right here of individuals that are forward deployed engineers who work for Palantir. You can click into it, try that string. But then there's AI mode on Google, and we can ask it anything, right? So what if I drop in that same search? Will it bring me back the same or similar results? You should try this because it doesn't always do that. And it makes me wonder what's Google got cooking. Also, what I want to do is I want you to notice that in addition to the results, it kind of gave us a small NPC as to why we should contact this candidate, right? What they were involved in, what their work looks like, what they've been tracking, what they've been playing in, how they've been using audio engineering, right? So we've got a few different things that we can go into. Now, as we talk about those changes and those iterations, we are looking at the fact that we know now what Evan did, and if we wanted to, we could write a very specific message to Evan saying, "Yo, Evan, I know that you did some things at DoD. You may not want to talk about it, but I want to talk to you about what you don't want to talk about." Or Anna Kruger, right? Involved in tracking and analyzing pharmaceutical supply chain data. That's some powerful stuff. Now, as we talk about powerful stuff, natural language search. This is where we say, "Yo, Google, find me LinkedIn profiles of forward deployed engineers who work for Palantir, please." I use the word please because when the robots come, I don't want them to think I was disrespectful. All right, we're in AI mode. Find me LinkedIn profiles of forward deployed engineers who work for Palantir, please. It shows me and links to their profiles. The links to their profiles are on the right side of our screen, and it gives me experience at Palantir, where they're located. But notice, when I was using Boolean inside of their GPT, inside of their Gemini model, it gave me different answers, right? Sam, always say please. I'm with you. And Sam, special shout out to you. You challenged me to make sure that I included some awesome shit in this presentation. Let's get this on. What happens when we pair Boolean and natural language search? Now, if you've attended one of my webinars before, you know this is typically how I find diverse populations of leaders, right? So I'd say she led, or she built, or she grew, or they built, or they started. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to say, show me FDEs who have degrees from a top 25 CS school. Show of hands. Who here has hiring managers that only want to see profiles of candidates who went to Stanford? Yep. Kelly knows my pain, right? Georgia Tech is just as good as Stanford, right? So I'm going to say top 25 CS schools. I'm going to run that, and it comes back and it shows me people who went to Carnegie Mellon who are at Palantir. It shows me people who are at UC Berkeley who are at Palantir. Gives me a link to their profile. Cross references against Y Combinator, against Reddit, all these different places where these are even schools popping in top 25, actually typing in those names. Kelly, we're all about shortcuts. We're all here to work harder, work smarter, not harder. That's what Ben brought us together for, right? Natural language search. Now, we're going to go and we're going to drop that same search string into ChatGPT, which everybody uses ChatGPT every day, right? Ready to dive in. Oh, we hit a wall. This is not good. This is not what we wanted to happen, right? So let's try it in another GPT, in another LLM. So I'm going to look in Anthropic's Claude. Good evening. It's nice to see you too. How can you help me today? Find me LinkedIn profiles of forward deployed engineers for work Palantir, please. Bingo. There we go. We got our forward deployed engineers. It scraped LinkedIn for us. Screw you, Chat GPT. We're going forward. Now, what about Gemini at gemini.google.com, right? Do I have the pro version of ChatGPT? Sam, I do have the pro version of ChatGPT, and it didn't give me what I wanted. It didn't. No. How accurate are these suggestions, Katie? Katie, ask the GPT how accurate it is. We're going to get into that in a second. I love that thought. Question the GPT. That's that curiosity element, Katie. All right. Find me LinkedIn profiles for forward deployed, for forward, uh, Alethea, we're going to find a way around that. Find me LinkedIn profiles of forward deployed engineers who work for Palantir, please. Hello, Brian. Oh, all you did was give me a bunch of garbage. You didn't give me what I really wanted. But it's Google, right? Google should always give me what I wanted. Yes, Perplexity is $20 a month too, or you can get it for free with your Venmo credit card. Just look into that, or debit card, I should say, rather. So I'm now going to use Perplexity, which Sam already knows is my favorite. I talked about it. I talked about this on a podcast with Ben about a week or so ago. Find me profiles of forward deployed engineers who work for Palantir, please. Perplexity Pro. Now, real quick, Perplexity Pro is $20 a month, or you can get it for free with your Venmo debit card. There we go. We now have a list of LinkedIn profiles that are all cited, that it takes me to where it came from, so it's not spurious. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate that. Pam, thank you. All right, let's keep going, right? Please note, it says Comet can do this faster. Download Comet. We're going to get into Comet in just a second. What about the prompts? What am I using? You guys heard me talk about this on the podcast, is that I'm using some prompts like find me 25 AI engineers, because Brian recruits on AI day in and day out, whether it's at the principal level or the manager level, with experience in shipping production level models. I don't want people who've done theory, and I wanted them to have done it in the last 18 months at a Series B or later startup. Exclude anybody with less than 4 years experience or somebody who's currently at a FANG company. Why don't I want people in a FANG company? I tend to think that people who work for FANG companies get lost in the ether, and their best work doesn't always get to rise to the surface. But I digress. All right, here we are in Perplexity. Perplexity has found me people who are 25 engineers who've shipped the production level code in the past 18 months, what they've done, what the funding round is, what the company they're at, and the years of experience. And I'll put that in a lovely chart for me. Thank you, Perplexity. You're the best. But if you scroll down to the bottom, Perplexity always wants to ask deeper, more curious questions, right? Now, this is a thing that I talked about, is that export contact info and LinkedIn profiles for shortlisted engineers. Well, thank you. I would love you to put a list together so that I can upload that list into Pin, and then I can start messaging these people. That's a great idea. Export contact info and LinkedIn profiles for shortlisted candidates. Thanks, guys. You're the best. All right. Now, since you guys know that I look for AI engineers, I look for them on GitHub. Find me GitHub repos that are tied to AI engineers in the greater Seattle area with more than 100 commits and a text or a README that possesses a resume. That's right. I want you to show me the data that you can do the work, but I also want you to show me their resume. Why? Because I want to call these people. Here are several repositories, and they're all linked to GitHubs, right? We've got Patrick Ellis, GitHub, 793 contributions in the last year. He has a README file that explicitly serves as a resume. Do I need comment too? Kelly, you're going to get comment for free. You're going to get comment for free. Are we good? Hell yes. All right. That's what I'm looking for, Tim. I'm looking for a hell yes. C. All right. And then we've got Alyssa Wynn, who is on, who's also on GitHub. We got some things that we can jump into there. And also, if anybody has any questions about these searches, there is conveniently up in the right-hand corner a share button, and I'm able to share with you my results and just do it like a link, right? Export the repo list to CSV with URL, owner, and commits. Again, I'm going to take that. I'm a big pinhead. I'm a big fan of Pin. I'm going to take that. I'm going to load it into Pin, and I'm going to have it added to one of my cadences where I'm looking for individuals that are AI engineers, or I'm looking for AI engineers for one of my clients. All right. Yeah, Sam, I'm a pinhead. I'm a pinhead, right? Um, quick, quick, quick 1-2 on that. A pinhead is actually the name of Marty McFly's band in Back to the Future. It was Marty McFly and the Pinheads. All right. Export the repo list to CSV with repo URL, owner and commits. You know where I'm going with this. Eric, I agree with you. I think it's one of the best science fiction movies of all time. All right. So we are going to now look for Slack channels that are tied to top SaaS sales pros. Why? Because I don't want this to be all about finding developers and engineers. I want to find some other people. I want to talk to the people, right? Maybe Billy, why do you do it? Love the people. All right. Find me Slack channels tied to top SaaS sales pros. This includes different optionalities for me to go through and jump into Slack channels. It lets me know how many people are in each of the Slack channels. Kelly, you should try this trick for marketers, right? Um, it gives you the way that you can apply, that you can join with them. Kelly, real quick, if you go to a website called slowfile.com, you can usually use that to find Slack channels. Yep. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was putting it on your radar, just trying to be friendly here, right? All right. So going forward, verify activity and member quality in Slack groups. Oh, that would be interesting, right? To get a quality pulse before we go spend our time there. What about resumes? I did one little trick where I found some resumes. I like resumes. I love finding a resume because then I don't have to wait for a resume. I don't have to wait for you to send me a resume. I got your resume. I got your resume. I got your phone number. I got your email address. We are fast friends, right? Find me PDF resumes, software engineers who have experience with Kubernetes. It's a cloud orchestration tool. And LangChain. LangChain is an orchestration and model tuning technique used for AI. Look at there. It's sites. We got Shreyas, we got Rahul, we got Paneek, right? We probably could have put in a little bit of location, but we've got about 28 different sites that we can go to for resumes, right? There's Shreyas's resume. We went ahead and pulled that right up. We've got him at Prettiest Hub. We've got him in Chicago, Illinois. We've got a phone number. We got an email. Let's go. Or file type colon PDF. That means, hey, Google, I only want to look at file types that are of the PDF nature. I want them to have the word, I want them to be a resume, and I want them to be for a software engineer who has Kubernetes and Kubernetes. Who's got cooties? Kubernetes, sorry, and LangChain. There we go. Thank you, Google. I'm excited. We're going to look at Arian. There's Arian's resume. We pulled it down. Simple pimple, right? But now I got my friends on this call that are wondering, they're like, Brian, I don't have time to pull down each of these resumes one by one. I've got to load them into my applicant tracking system. How will I ever do that? Is anybody else thinking about that? Well, before we get there, I want to get a little mischievous with you. You know, Kelly was saying, hey, B, Perplexity, $20 a month. Okay, I can handle that scandal. But what about $40 for this and $20 for this? Before you know it, you got a tech stack that is like $200 in GPTs. So let us get mischievous, right? Does anyone know the website lmarena.ai? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump to, ooh, yeah, Sam's with me. All right. So what lmarena.ai is it allows you to use all the models two at a time. Eric, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this is what I should have brought to office hours, right? Compare answers across AI models and share your feedback on our public leaderboard, right? What we're going to do is we're going to jump into putting, we've got the battle option up at the top, and I'll get into that a little bit more, but we've got the ask anything at the bottom. Find engineers who recently worked at a Series B tech startup and attended a top 20 university. Okay, so what I did is I put that in, and there's assistant A and assistant B. Okay, I don't know who is who. And then I have one that comes down on the left-hand side that is all about the engineers that I need to talk to and the verified 8 examples of engineers that we can speak with. Or we've got B that wants to tell us how we can do the search in Boolean. Now, you get to vote, and this is how you uprank who's the better LLM on the leaderboard. And when you're using this, I know what you're thinking. Sam, Eric, Taylor, you're all like, hey, is this free? This is 100% free. Okay. Matching engineers. Assistant A shows me all these engineers. I blew this up so you could see it, right? How they've worked, who they've worked for, where they went to school, all those different things, right? Assistant B, Assistant B is garbage, right? Like, look, I know there's some people who don't know how to search, but I'm talking to 100 people. Jeff, you are right. A for the win. I'm talking to 100 people who know how to do Boolean, right? Okay, so real quick, we've got assistant A and we've got assistant B. Who's going with A? Let me see the A's. Who thinks A was the winner? Does anybody think B? Don't be afraid. You can be a B. We only hire A's here, but you can be a B. Okay. So, real quick, which one is better? A was better. A comes from, so B was Chat GPT 4.0, and it was the latest incarnation on Chat GPT. Acadia, what is Acadia? Who is using Acadia on this call? Jennifer, are you using Acadia? Joe, are you using Acadia? Eric, are you using Acadia? I've never used Acadia. I don't have a subscription to Acadia. This was a total surprise to me. All right. Exactly, Eric. Exactly. Right. So here's where the free action comes in. It's that you're thinking to yourself, but I don't have a paid perplexity, but I'd like to use it. You can go into battle and you can do a side by side, choosing 2 models of your choice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that. Look at that big, beautiful list of GPTs we can use. I'm going to use Grok because Grok is $40 a month, and I'm going to use Mistral, right? French searching or French LLM. And I'm going to find engineers who recently worked at a Series B tech startup attending a top university. Okay, Grok is telling me how to find matching engineers, and Mistral is telling me to use a LinkedIn search and what the query would be, right? Taylor, there is a limit to u.com. You can only do 5 priority searches. It's a great call out. Guys, if you're not using u.com, take a look at that as well. U is trying to monetize and trying to be a meta engine or a meta LLM. All right. Wait, there's more. Who's getting excited? We've been at this for like 27 minutes, right? Yes, Kelly, that is exactly correct. All right, so there's more. I'm going to stop for a quick second. You take a deep breath, and then I'm going to say, let's go window shopping, browsing, and buying, right? So I talked about at the beginning that there's the Comet browser. Thank you, Deanna. And there's the Dia browser. Dia is only available for Mac OS, but it's free. Comet, if you have Perplexity and you're paying for it, you get it. But now they've made the Comet browser free for everybody. So why am I obsessed about browsers, right? This sounds like a talk that my friend Ronnie Bratcher would have given, that you can use Chrome and Safari and Opera and all these other browsers, and you can get different search results even when you search on Google or Bing. We'll talk about that another time. So many new tools. I know, Jeff. We're going forward. All right, let's get into Comet. All right. So this is the Comet browser. It's got some widgets. I'm in Monroeville. I'm in Pittsburgh right now. So if anybody else is in Pittsburgh, I'm here for the week. I'm not going to that conference that's in Nashville. I'll be in Pittsburgh. So if anybody wants to hang out, shoot me a DM, and I'd love to find some time to get some coffee or maybe stop by and do a haunted maze, right? Haunted maze may or may not be on the agenda for Mads. We'll talk about it. But real quick, this is Perplexity. And if you notice, this pulled in all of my Chrome stuff. So I got big data, blogs, bonus insights, business development work that I'm doing, and all my extensions work in this native. You guys knew that we were going to do this search, right? I'm going to stop saying the search out loud, or it's going to be the only thing you're going to remember because of repetition, right? So what I did is I dropped this into the search, and it did the search the same way it would have done it in Perplexity, right? Analyze it, but wait, please note, it's going through and it's opening up every single page individually. This is important. There is a button that is in the top right-hand side that says assistant. All right. We're gonna talk about that hardcore in a minute. This is going through. Please note, it is looking through all the pages. It is hitting all the pages on LinkedIn, right? I want you to think, because right now you're saying to yourself, I could never keep up with this. I could never read this. How do I put all this information into a spreadsheet so I can make it actionable? Well, there's assistant. And so what you see in the blue shaded arena of my browser is that you see it going through all the pages. It's going through LinkedIn free, and it's adding all the context that we're looking for. It's looking in those top 20. Catherine, this will be sent out. Ben will send it out. Also, if you need the demo deck sooner, hit me up. I will send it to you. Sounds fair, Catherine? Okay, cool. Catherine, you got it. I'm here to see you win. I want you to believe that, right? So we're going through, and it's looking at all of these people who went to Caltech. It's looking at all of them. It's scanning that all in real time. What if we add one extra variable? What if we say, hey, I'm Catherine, and I only want to email, I don't want to in-mail people. I don't want to in-mail people. That's junk. I want to send people a Gmail. I want to send them a email via iCloud, or I want to send them a Yahoo address email. So I'm going to take that at Gmail and I'm going to drop it into the bottom here. My only concern is getting a LinkedIn ban for this automation. It's a good point. That's a good point, Sam. Real good point. Real good point. We're going to get to that. Brian has a warning label on this, right? Is that find those who have a Gmail or or a Gmail address, right? Proceed with caution. Yes, sir. All right. This was the warning label. While you can automate sending LinkedIn messages using Comet's AI assistant, and I'm not going to show you how to do that today because I'm not going to be blamed for anybody getting banned. It is extremely risky and can lead to your account being permanently banned. LinkedIn's user agreement strictly prohibits the use of third-party tools to automate interactions. Better, safer approach is to figure out how to use Comet's AI to draft personalized messages, which you can then review and send manually. Okay, so instead, I'm going to say look on LinkedIn for software engineers from Carnegie Mellon who have a Gmail address. Create a CSV with a link to the profile and the email addresses. Compiling a CSV of LinkedIn profiles for Carnegie Mellon software engineers with Gmail addresses. You can do that down here at Try Assistant on the lower left, or on the upper right where it has Assistance Engaged. Populate a Google Sheet with this data. It's going through and it's harvesting. It's harvesting all these URLs, right? It's going through. It's doing this automation for us. Now, this is doing this inside of normal Perplexity and how much time it would take to get this done. We're going to let that sit. And like I said, I can shoot you a link so that you can do that search on your own. We're going to jump over to Dia. Welcome to Dia. This is how it looks when it starts up. Dia was released by the browser company about 2 weeks ago. You can import memories, i.e. what your search history is from ChatGPT. Do I recommend that? No, because I don't think that your ChatGPT should be shared ubiquitously with multiple tools. All right. Now, if you'll notice, I said that I wanted to find the software engineer at Carnegie Mellon, and it did that. And I found these individuals right here. I'm not connected to any of them. They're all second or third connections. I'm going to open them all in individual tabs. There's Lynn. There's UI. There's Lon Fei. Now, what I can do, Tate, you got it, bro. What I can do is when I'm on the page, I can have it explain to me what the person does. I can analyze who their connections are. I can summarize what their experiences are. There's a whole list of 20 different skills that you can play through. All right. Now see that it says mention it. Jeff, I've not played with that browser yet. Ronnie Bratcher's my browser man, right? Like I usually follow his lead. But Jeff, that's a good question. Good call out. All right. So mention a tab. You can add tabs or files to this GPT. I mean, to this browser. So what I want to know is, of the three people I pulled up, which one is the best software engineer? Because I don't have time to go through and call these people. So what I did is I had it go through and look at all the tabs that were open on my browser and say that Yu Wu is the strongest overall engineer based on impact and scope. How many times when we're doing a LinkedIn search do we only click on the first page? This gives us the opportunity to add multiple tabs and then say, of these people, who should I reach out to? Who's most active on LinkedIn? Which one of them have early career achievements that would be beneficial for us to have that conversation, right? Ask another question. What criteria, this comes back to the question was asked earlier, what criteria did you use to make this decision as to who was the best? Well, it went through and it looked at seniority, technical depth, leadership, production level, domain relevance, and trajectory. And then it told me how it applied the mathematics. Okay, so real quick, I want you to notice that our first person in this box, or the first box, is YU. It shows me additional staff engineers who worked in quality pipelines at Google. Thanks, Google. You just did what I love to do the most is when a hiring manager says, go find me. I mean, thank you very much, Dia. When a hiring manager goes, oh, Taylor is the best engineer that I've ever hired. Well, great. I'm going to put Taylor in there and I'm going to find other Taylors. Bam, let's go. And then Lynn, it shows me other Lynn's that are available. This is great. Fantastic. Awesome. Find me more candidates like Y Woo. Well, thank you. All right. What like Y Woo means? Oh, Gemini. You get the picture, right? Now, look, we have had some fun together. We've blown some minds. We've had some big activities. We've gone through some big feelings. I want to talk about applying the core four that we started this conversation with to making sure that we're successful in 2026. Curiosity. Guys, I think we've talked. I think we've talked about curiosity hot and heavy. I think we've gone down some rabbit holes that maybe we shouldn't have gone down. I've popped up some warning labels. I've had you give your advice and consent about what we should and should not be doing. Curiosity. It is that one thing that makes good recruiters different from the best recruiters. And today, I hope that I instilled in you enough curiosity that you're going to sit down, you're going to play with your prompts, you're going to play with these browsers, and you're going to be curious, right? Empathy. We got to remember, this is a people business. Whether we're dealing with hiring managers who think that we can just conjure up candidates out of a hat. I'm looking at you, Kelly, because I know that you've been asked to do this, right? Or we're working with candidates that we've got to help them when it comes to stretching their professional capabilities and going next level. All right. Because this is really all about that's what we do. We are architects, and shout out to my newsletter, The Talent Architects. What we do every day is we work to take companies from better to best, to take managers from better to best, to take individuals from better to best. That is what we do. That is what we're building. Tenacity. You got to run through walls. Okay. You got to do the hard work. You got to do one more and you got to push this, right? It's worth alternate. Yes, I agree with you. And then mischievousness. Do something different, right? Like, I would say once you've done it, share it with the world. I think of Steve Levy. Steve Levy goes into restaurants that have the uh, bowl that people put their business cards in, and he steals them. He steals them. There are pictures of Steve stealing these bowls. Now, that probably wrecks everybody's chance of winning a free meal, but it gets Steve a bunch of phone numbers and email addresses in a very unorthodox way. It is the very essence of mischievousness. All right. I think we got like 20 minutes left. Who wants to have some fun freestyling and profiling? I lost everybody. We fell asleep. So you love Pin, but can I potentially get the same results of these tools? Kelly, I'm going to hold on one second. I got to. Oh, hey, I'm Brian Fink. I want to thank you. Please connect with me. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm Brian at the Rework Group. What I do is I help startups that are between 4 and 400 people to scale their technology leadership. That's what I do. All right. So let's get fired up. Stop sharing Keynote. I'm going to go. Hold on. This is where Brian doesn't know how to drive his own laptop, right? All right. So we're going to go and I'm going to type in this little gem right here. Can everybody see my screen? Well, you're
We see
welcome,
your
Bonnie
screen,
Anderson.
but it's the I'm Brian Fink.
Oh, okay. Let's get rid of that. Hold on. I'm gonna go and go.
Maybe like a stop share and then reshare again. Oh, there you go.
All right. Let's share. All right. So real quick, Kelly was like, "Yo, B, can I get the same results as Penn using these browsers?" Right? If you notice, I was playing on Penn earlier, sitting, but I'm going to drop this in the chat. I want to make sure that everybody has access to this. Benjamin, I know we've mentioned this before. I'm dropping it right there. This is my Google custom search engine. Many years ago, when I worked for a financial institution named Cabbage, Cabbage was weary of us having LinkedIn Recruiter because they didn't. It was a whole thing. Anyhow, so I went to uh, it's now programmable search engine google.com. It used to be custom search engine.google.com. And I built a search engine that runs on top of Google. So Kelly, who are you looking for today? Anybody? Anybody got a search they want me to do? I'm looking for an engineering manager in New York City. Kaylee, welcome to the program. All right. Engineering manager. And we're going to say New York. And Kaylee, real quick, I'm just gonna give this engineering manager. I'm gonna say they have to know Kubernetes, okay? Or no, I'm gonna have to say they know LangChain. All right. So what we've got here is that I just went through and backdoored LinkedIn using an X-ray search. You love that Google button? Yep, I like that Google button too. All right. So I'm gonna look at Harrison Chase, who's an engineering manager, or I'm gonna look for somebody with management experience that has all these requirements. Let's just look at Wendy, just so I can show you how this works. Does everybody see Wendy Braben's LinkedIn profile? Yes. All right, cool. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a tech program manager for SMB in Washington, D.C. Is that what I was looking for, Kelly? All right. Technical program manager. Government experience, GovCon, or cleared. I'm just going to type that in and then I'm going to say Washington, DC. Okay. How about Albert? He's a cleared technical program manager. Does that work? Let's see this dude. Oh, and he's open to work too. That's great. Fantastic. Andy, I'm gonna drop this I'm gonna drop this link in the chat one more time. This is how I'm doing that X-ray at scale. So much of what I like to do, Andy, is I like to simplify things so that, like, I will spend a lot of time building something that is on the surface complex so that I can go faster in the future. So search engine geared for sourcing. Sam, it is because Sam, what we're going to do now is we're going to say, hey, I only want to see profiles with personal email addresses of technical program managers in the cleared space. But bam, there we go. We got a Gmail address. We got a Yahoo address. You're welcome, Sam. Benjamin, I love the focus thing. What browser is that? Um, this is Momentum. It's a background, and it basically every tab that I open. So today I'm going to focus on being Ben's friend. So I'm going to do that, and I source in 25-minute increments, right? So that I don't fall down the rabbit hole for too long. And it's going to start ticking, and it'll follow me around in every window that I open up. Today I'm being Ben's friend. It'll also do it on my browser on my phone, but that's it. Okay, so uh, we got like 14 minutes left together. Search engine. That search engine, Sam, is basically what I've done is I've created an X-ray variable so that it only looks at LinkedIn, right? You can build. So we're going to go to programmable search engine. Here's my control panel. This is one I built for Holland America. Um, these are all these different search engines that I build. Yeah, Sam, it works around site. It does the site LinkedIn because the thing is that when you are typing into Google, you are limited to 32 words, right? Or 32 search terms. Let's get rid of it, all the garbage that we can get rid of, and then optimize through synonyms to find what we're looking for. Is that helpful? Until 2:50. Then I am stressing because I have a client intake call at 2:30, which I don't think that we're going to do a live client intake call for the conference today. Maybe we'll come back and we'll do that again. Um, what else? Kelly, my intake calls are very much order taker. I say, what do you want and how much you pay for it? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Nobody should do that. Um, what else are we? What else do we want to do? What else do we want to play with? Kaylee, thank you. I appreciate it. Kaylee and we were talking last night as we were kind of wrapping everything up. Um, Find me uh, tax accountant and public prints. Oh, RJ, I'm going to be honest with you. That's one that I would just hand over to Penn or Juicebox, just to be honest with you, right? But let's do it. We're going to look for find me tax. Are they public tax accountant? Public tax accountant. Public tax accountants in. I like Penn better than Juicebox, but that's because I just to be honest with you, I haven't played with Juicebox in a while, so that's not fair. I think that Juicebox probably does a better job for business development. But like a lot of my business development is referrals. Find me public tax accountants um, in Prince Frederick, Maryland, with a LinkedIn profile or resume. You need to spell profile properly, with at least 2 years of work experience All right. I'm gonna RJ, there you go, bro. Ayana, do they do the same? Um, I feel like Juicebox does it one way and Pin does it another way. And let me expand on that a little bit better. Is that when I'm using both tools, I've got the opportunity to really differentiate what makes the candidate an A or a B candidate. But in Pin, it's easier for me to read. If I have like seven hard and fast requirements, it does this little check mark and red minus sign to let me know where to go in the profile to see those different features, whether it's a LinkedIn profile, whether it's GitHub, whether it's Facebook, and what have you. Is that helpful? Yeah, and also when I don't have Juicebox up right now. I do have Pin where I'm doing it for a principal engineer. I'd be happy to show you how that works. But like I said, I got like 9 minutes. Oh, real quick, Ben, I'm going to say it. Ben knows this. I've said it on the podcast. If you want, I do open office hours on Fridays from 12 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. That's every Friday. I got into that habit when I was working for Twitter, and it's just something that I've kept doing for the past 5 years. Uh, so I'm I've tried to use Pin where it's almost superfluous when I'm using Pin inside of a browser like uh, Perplexity's Comet. And the reason I say it's superfluous is that you can set Pin to auto source and auto outreach, and therefore I don't necessarily have to flip through all those profiles. Is that helpful? Yes, I do. Ayana, I have it reach out to 25 people automatically. If I haven't hit so I only reach out to like 75 people a day. And that's initial outreach and continued outreach into sequence. John, that is a great question. I am currently testing different ATS systems right now. Right now, yeah, I know. So, like, I've been really impressed with Atlas, who I think is a sponsor of this event. I was really impressed with the fact that it pulls in so many different features that are kind of ad hoc or mashup that you would have to get. Like, you'd have to get MetaView over here. Well, it's got it. You'd have to get pen over here. It's got it, right? So I've been really impressed with Atlas. I've been really impressed with the customer support that they've given me. Um, I encourage, yeah, but they have no API. I agree with you, right? And I'm kind of curious about that. Um, one of the one of the other one of the other ones that I've looked at, and I keep going back to it, is when I started in recruiting 20 something years ago. I fell in love with Cats One, and I still like want everything to function like Pats want. It's kind of ridiculous. They're a small team. They're built based out of Minneapolis. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going with. I mean, yep, John. Yeah, they were, yeah, but they throttled email, which really pissed me off when I was trying to run career fairs. Um, cool. 30 year John, you're setting the bar awfully high. What are your sourcing must-haves and do-nots when it comes to messaging lingo? Do you put all the info out there or only have little word count? Hey Sam, do you want me to show you my most successful message? Okay, all right. So real quick, my most successful message I refer to as the Seinfeld message because I talk about absolutely nothing. Um, all right, here it is. I'm going to drop this in the chat. It is the absolute talk about nothing message. While I build engineering teams for, or while I build engineering teams, I would really love the chance to work with you on finding a career fit. The roles that I work on, or the roles offer a blend of technical and leadership growth opportunities across multiple domains. We're working on some new confidential initiatives that might be interesting to explore together. But most importantly, the work I do is driven by you and what you want to do next. Would you be open to a quick call so I can learn more about where you're hoping to take your career next? Cheers, Brian. Please note, I call that the Seinfeld message because Jerry Seinfeld and George Costanza pitched a show about nothing, which is the premise of Seinfeld. That message is about nothing. It's about the candidate and the future that they are going to have, and they project everything onto it. That is the message that I use probably 50% of the time. These pretzels are making me thirsty. That was a great line, Taylor. Yeah, it's so ambiguous, but I get people on the phone with it, RJ. Like, and at the end of the day, like all we want to do is have a conversation with a candidate and have them qualify themselves in or qualify themselves out, right?
Hey, Brian, I know you got like 3 minutes before you got to hop on that intake call. So I just wanted to say for everybody here, drop an emoji in the chat of your thoughts on Brian's mischievous magic that he showed us. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
You guys are welcome. I mean, look, real quick, I appreciate you guys giving me some love, but please, everybody, give some love to Ben and to our sponsors because without Ben, this wouldn't be possible. Without sponsors like Atlas or Penn or Juicebox or Crelay, none of us would have been able to come together and be able to be here for the next week at pretty much for free, right? Like that is that's just the end of it all. Um, take your time, get with your crew. Thank you for letting me be part of this tribe. Thanks for letting me be part of this community. You guys, you are simply the best. And remember, the best. We are here to take our candidates and our companies from better to best. Thank you for making time. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, we will see you guys shortly. What about 30 minutes for the last session of the day? And Brian, go crush that intake call, brother.